Hi, and welcome to the Long Range Shooting and Custom Rifle Building podcast presented by Wolf Precision Incorporated, where we learn about and share long range shooting and custom rifle building. I am your host, Jamie Dodson, and welcome to the show. Hi, and welcome to episode 251 of Wolf Precision's Long Range Shooting and Custom Rifle Building podcast. I'm your host, Jamie Dodson, and welcome back to the show. In this episode, we're going to be talking about our different levels in which you can purchase one of our rifles. We really are trying to encourage customers to learn to build and maintain their rifles and give them the opportunity to not just learn a new skill set, but also save a fair amount of money that they can put towards other parts and pieces. So I always say there's more people to pull up to a better rifle than pull down, and these are rifles built for the people. So we'd like to talk with you a little bit about the introduction, and then this is going to multi-part series where we're going to talk about each of the different levels in a little bit more detail. So without further ado, here we go. Before we get started, as always, we'd like to say a quick thank you to a couple of our sponsors. First, we'd like to thank Krieger Barrels. They're a maker of fine cut rifle barrels. They are made in the great state of Wisconsin. They are a family-owned and operated business. They offer a new program called Krieger Direct, where you can log on and look through their in-inventory barrels and possibly get your barrel in as little as 2 to 3 business days. They also have a sales page. So we're getting ready to launch the Gen 4s. We expect them to be fully available as of January 1st. We do offer them for the full line of Bad Actions, which now include a lot of really cool receivers coming up and onto the marketplace. The first Bad Action, of course, is the Igniter. That's our workhorse. We've been building on that action forever. It was originally called a BT before it became the namesake Igniter. It is really what was our tactical hunting receiver for many, many years and became a standard receiver offered by Bad Action. And of course, you've got the VR, you've got the TR, you've got the Bumblebee, you've got the Vampire, you've got the Vesper. The list just goes on and on. There's a couple new ones coming out. So one of the reasons why we use Bad Actions when we're selecting and working with all of our rifles is just their consistency and their quality and their consistency and their head spacing. We're going to have a system that's going to play well for customers. We have to have this not just close or close enough that most will fit properly or most will be safe. We have to actually have it perfect. That requires both us and Bat Machine to be on the same page and making quality components that actually complement each other. So when we start talking about these build kits and we start talking about the level 1, level 2, and level 3 in which you can purchase a Wolf Precision Ace-based rifle, one of my biggest goals was to try to give the customers an experience in learning to build and maintain their very own custom rifle. There are 2 or 3 different reasons why you would want to do this. We're going to dive into more detail in another podcast, but the first is just flat out, it saves you money. A lot of your custom rifles that are on the market today are made in very inefficient ways, very inaccurate ways, not very repeatable ways. And of course, because they're basically a small, inefficient manufacturer, think of comparing them to something like Ruger or SIG, where their efficiency is just times 100. And do they overcharge because they can, because of the brand, these custom rifle builders, or do they have to charge that much? So when you start talking about an $8,000 or $12,000 rifle, I'm out. I don't see any component on the marketplace today outside of something that's a really crazy fine, rare wood made in, by some famous person, artist, whatever it might be. I can't see any justification for a tool. It's sort of like having a gold-plated Craftsman wrench. I mean, at that point, you're not a mechanic. You're just a guy that has a wrench on the wall to brag about it, right? And so when you start talking about $10,000 and $12,000 and $15,000 for the rifle itself, you have to show me where that's at. You have to show me that they're not marking that up 300% and 400%, or they're just so irresponsible with the efficiency of their manufacturing. They just have to do it. So for me, I came from very, very humble roots. I'm not poor mouthing here, but I'm telling you, I know the value of $1. I know what it's like to save up for months and months and months just to buy a $600 scope. At 54 years old, my goal is to try to give everybody a great rifle, not just a select few that can afford them or feel like they're getting that great custom rifle because they wrote the bigger check, right? I want everybody to have a rifle that when they take it to the range and they shoot it, they leave with a spring in her step, thinking, damn, I knew I could shoot, or I knew I could do that. Or, that confidence that they can. The secret isn't just the rifle, it's the shooter, but it's also giving the shooter the confidence and giving them a world class piece of equipment. For me, what's really important is when we start talking about the level one kit, is trying to get into a system that saves the customer money. So if we can not only give them a cool skill set and teach them how to build and maintain a rifle, that also gives them the tools to change it up later to a different caliber, to a different barrel length, to a different barrel type, to a different receiver. Think of the ability to build and maintain a rifle as your future needs change, and not just build a rifle, what we really think is some of the highest quality that you can get, period. Then with doing that, we're able not only give the customer a great experience of delivering to them a great shooting rifle, but also allowing them to have some confidence as well as a little bit of pride in building it themselves. The funny part about level one kits is when you build it, we're what we consider like a prosumer gunsmith. And that's what the school we are announcing here is going to support. It's called a Prosumer Gunsmithing School. It's designed to teach you all of this stuff. So not only does it save you money, it teaches you really important skills on building and maintaining a rifle and fixing things as they wear out or break. But it also, when you win a match or you take that shot of a lifetime, especially when you're talking about a custom rifle, the first question everybody asks you after you've made that incredible shot is, who built your rifle? So in some ways, we're taking some of that like spring in your step out because, well, the secret isn't you and your shooting abilities, it must be the rifle. Well, how cool would it be to say, I built it? We want you to be able to say that. And when we start talking about a level one kit, it's all the core components minus the trigger. And that allows us to sell you the core components without having to add things like the excise tax and other things, as delivering a full custom rifle just in parts, which is part of the problem when you get into full custom rifles is there are some taxes and fees that get involved. So the level one kit, straight up components, lots of training how to build it and put it together. Then we offer what we call our level 2 kit. Now, this is a fully assembled rifle kit minus one working part, which is usually the trigger. And I'll explain that in a moment in more detail in the next episode. A lot of customers are getting into this for the first time, and they would like to save the money. They would like to also know that the rifle is put together properly the first time and then let them learn how to build and maintain it from there, but at least give them the tool properly assembled right out of the gate. And what we'll do is on the customer's behalf is we will do the full assembly of all the components, which include the barrel, the ace, the stock, the action, getting everything set up minus the trigger, which requires 2 trigger pins to put in. And then when they get the rifle, the only thing they have to do is take the stock off. They have to put the trigger in with 2 pins, put it back together with video instruction, and they're off to the races. They can still say they've taken part of it, and they've actually still saved some money, but they removed the learning part. So what I like to say when we're talking about the difference between level 1 and level 2 is I don't want to force everybody to buy the kit. And the reason being is some people just aren't comfortable building things like this yet. There are people that have never changed a tire on a car. There are people that have never changed a ceiling fan out. And there are those that would like to not try to do it on the first time if they're not sure what to do. And so we don't want to force that on people. We want to say, look, okay, you've never done this before. Let us put this together, and then we'll show you how to build it and maintain it when you're ready. The other part is they don't have to buy the tools right away. So when you do buy the kit, you are going to have to buy a barrel vise, you've got to buy an action wrench, you've got to buy an ace wrench, and there are some common tools. All total, you might spend $300 or $400 till you're done buying all of your tools, but still, the tools are reusable, so you're still saving a good amount of money. But you could put that towards have it just assemble. You don't have to worry about buying workbenches and barrel vices and all these things that, if you've never done this before, it might not be a bad idea. Then slowly walk you into learning how to build the rifle. Then we've got our level 3. Now, our level 3 is our full custom rifle. That is everything built in-house, completely put together, range ready to perform right out of the gate. So when you get your rifle, triggers installed, optics are on, everything's zeroed out, it is a Wolf Precision custom rifle. It is something that we've been building for more than 20 years now. We know how to do it. We know how to do it well. And for the customer that says, look, I'm still getting a great deal. We're still not charging $12,000 for a custom rifle, but we're going to go ahead and complete it. We do have customers that, hey, just put the whole thing together for me. I don't want to do any of it. And when my barrel shot out, I'm going to send it back to you and I'm going to actually let you replace the barrel and then send it back to me. I'd rather do that and spend my time working on other things that are more important in life than learning how to be a gunsmith. And I get that part too. So that really is why we offer a level 1, a level 2, and a level 3 kit. Now, when we get into our next podcast, we're going to dive into this in much greater detail, and we're going to go into the level 1 kit and why it's so important. And it's more than just, well, here's the parts. There are reasons why we prefer to sell the entire kit other than money, other than, hey, we can sell the stock, other than, hey, we don't make as much if we sell barreled action. I will dive into that in massive detail, and it is worth every penny of it to let us go ahead and get all of the core components gathered up and at least checked before we send it out to alleviate the 500 problems that can happen when you buy barreled action and buy stock off the open market and think that it's a drop fit. When we start talking about the level 2 kit, there are some things that are going to come out in the future as well, which we want to talk a few minutes about when we get into discussing the level 2 kit, which include future classes in which you can come in and to the Armory. Here's what we call our gunsmithing room. And we can actually take you in, walk you through the processes, spend a day with you and make you comfortable and feeling it, right? And being able to put it together, being able to maintain it, being able to change barrels. We just had a great customer who's been with us for years come in today and swap out his barrel for a 22 Creedmoor. He did it under our guidance. That is what the Armory is going to be built for. So not only will we have the Prosumer Gunsmithing School, that'll be an online class, we will actually have in-person classes here that you can come and bring your core components and learn how to build it under our guidance. Or when you're ready with your rifle, bring it in and we'll walk through all the processes of tearing it down and rebuilding it again. It is exactly what we did with Mr. Fry this morning when he came in and wanted to swap out to a 22 Creedmoor for his daughter to shoot. When we talk about the level 3 build, this is a full custom rifle. This is what we have done forever. The reason we come up with level 1 and 2 is we want to try to produce a rifle that's the very best that you can buy. We think we build the best rifles in the world. We wouldn't hang our hat in any of this if we didn't think we could. Like, I'm not interested in just building a rifle, and I'm not just interested in being in this business. If I'm going to do it, I want to do it right. I want to do it perfect, and I want to be the best. I mean, we want to be the best. That's why we invented the whole A system to begin with and spent the last 7 years working on this. But we do have customers that actually would like us to do the full assembly. It's what we've done forever, and we do not mind. It is part of our business. We get a lot of customers that are professionals that have no interest in taking on another project or something else to learn. They just want a great rifle. And then if that's the case, and that is you, and it is a very popular choice, probably one of the most popular choices to this date as we start to roll out the level 1 and 2 kits, is a lot of guys just want the rifle built, and we get that, and we certainly provide it, and we always will. So we don't want to, again, force anybody to have to install a trigger if they're not comfortable doing it. We don't want them to have to build the entire rifle if they have no interest in doing it. And if they start to gather an interest, again, this is where the in-person classes and prosumer gunsmithing schools, both in-person and online, will come into play to give you the tool sets as you want to learn more about building and maintaining your rifle. So why is this important now? Well, as we start working forward, you're going to start to see our rifles on our website expand. We have several new stocks we're going to be offering. And again, they're stocks, barrels, actually all the parts are there. Everything's functional and working minus a trigger, or everything's there for you to do the full assembly with, again, chance for us to check everything and make sure it's right. But as we release the Gen 4, our goal is to train the customers to do the one thing that they could never do before January 1st, and that is install their own chamber onto the barrel. Most customers have to send their rifles off. Most customers have to send it to a gunsmith. Most actually cross their fingers and hope that it comes back and shoots every bit as good as what they say it will. Now you have the opportunity to learn how to actually install the chamber and chamber your own rifles, both with our guidance online and in person. and with the simplest tools on the planet. And you're going to see a lot of these videos coming out. And with these always come a barrage of questions about trying to explain the differences in between the level 1, 2, and 3. The reason this podcast is being launched right now is that this will be one of the podcasts that we're going to send to customers that ask that question. And we want you to listen to this just to get a little bit better idea about what we're talking about when we start talking about a level 1 and 2 and 3 rifle build. What level do you want? Well, how do you decide? What are they? The reason customers have this question is they've never had this choice before. They've never had the opportunity to select how far along I want the rifle to be before I get it. And so we want to try to break it down in a little bit more detail, and then that way they can make a more educated decision on how far they want to go and what they want to do. When we start releasing everything on January 1st for the Gen 4, which will be for all the short action bat receivers, we are going to be at SHOT Show. If you get the opportunity and you would like to see a Gen 4 Ace in person, and if you would like to stop by and see it installed, or if you would like to stop by and put one on yourself, we are going to be at SHOT Show 2026 with a couple displays for you to learn how to take and put the Ace on and off your barrel. We're super excited. If you're interested in this and you would like to see it in person, we know that is the place to be. That is where the shooters from around the world come to see all the new and greatest and what's coming, what's up and coming, what's new releases. And we think the Gen 4 Ace has every right to be there to throw its hat in the ring and say, we have solved a problem that's been around a long time. Now the consumer can install his own chamber and can actually order one and have it in their hand and installed on their barrels themselves. Gives you a great opportunity to come out and see it. And we're going to do these level 1, 2, and 3s before SHOT Show, give you a little bit better idea when you get there about what we're talking about. And then last, we are going to be at the Great American Outdoor Show. That's going to be the first week of February. That's a 10-day show. We will be there again with the Gen 4 Aces to show you how to install and give you the opportunity to try it yourself and explain a little bit more about how the system works in details. So as we keep moving forward and we keep getting ready to launch the Gen 4s, we are going to really get into offering the online Prosumer Gunsmithing School, which will start being recorded on December 1st. And then spring of 2026, we will be offering the Armory will open here, and that will be a gunsmithing school that you can come and do what we used to call our build assist, and you can come and bring all of your components and come in and build your rifle under our guidance, which we think is a great opportunity. How many gunsmithing shops are going to open their doors to you and say, come and let us show you how to do this? We think it's a really important part of not only building a great relationship with the customers, but also being able to give them hands-on experience when they get home to give them the confidence to actually build and maintain a rifle on their own from that point forward. That will all start in spring of 2026. So the next podcast that we're going to dive into is going to get a little bit more into the level 1 build kit and why it is super, super important when you buy all these components to go ahead and let us purchase all the components and explain in detail of all the issues that we find and run into on a regular basis. We do not want your first experience to be a bad one. This one's worthwhile taking a listen to. Buying a barreled action and going off and buying a stock and thinking that it just bolts together and it works perfect every time is absolutely ludicrous. It does not work. There are lots of small issues that pop up, some that will just cause you relentless heartache at the range until somebody figures it out. Others will cause really massive issues and not even allow the rifle to be put together properly. So we're going to dive into that in more detail next week, and we're going to dive into the level 1 rifle for more precision. Before we continue on with our updates, I do want to say a quick thank you to our last sponsor, TriggerTech. They are the maker of fine rifle triggers, one of our favorites here. They are one of the easiest to install, easiest to adjust, one of the safest triggers on the market, 2 pins in and ready to go. They offer everything from their introductory trigger right up to the diamond in straight shoe, curved shoe, smooth shoe. I mean, it's just amazing for a trigger company. So if you'd like to upgrade your rifle with a trigger, you can stop over to triggertech.com. That's triggertech.com today. Just a couple quick updates coming up for the Black Friday. We have a couple new products that we're going to be releasing for Black Friday. We think they're pretty cool, pretty fun, actually. We've been working on these projects. They are really more for gunsmithing and care, but watch out for some YouTube videos being released. And if you'd like to sign up for our newsletter, you can go over to our website, wolfprecision.net, and then you'll see our newsletter. You can register there. We only have 3 slots for one of our reloading classes, and I believe the next one is starting to fill. Our movers class in Georgia is starting to fill. We only have 6 slots left for the year. That is going to be held in Swainsboro, Georgia at the end of March. If you would like to join us, we only teach this class once every other year. It's a little bit more difficult for us to teach this class. It's a remote class. We have to travel. You can camp with us on the range. There's going to be great camaraderie, 3 days of shooting. One of my favorite classes to teach. Again, there are only 6 slots left. So if you'd like to join us for our movers class in March of 2026, log on to Wolf Precision and look over for our movers class and get registered for it today. Also, our online reloading classes, we are going to start recording our next episode in which we're going to be chronographing and doing some load work at the range. That'll be kicking off this week. You'll probably see that posted up next week. Our in-person long-range shooting school is well over half full. We only have slots now open, I believe, in July, August, and September. If you'd like to sign up, we only allow 5 people in a class, so it's about as close to one-on-one training as you're going to get. It is a 3-day shooting school, but 4 days of teaching in it to give you the most for your time here. You can register at wolfprecision.net. Don't miss out. We only have a handful of slots left for that as well. So looking forward to diving into the level 1 rifle from Wolf Precision. This is an industry first. What we're trying to do and what we're trying to allow customers to take on under actual teaching and guidance, we think is the way of the future in which custom rifles, especially quality custom rifles, are going to be built coming soon. So looking forward to next week's podcast. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us at contact@wolfprecision.net. And of course, if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to give us a call here at the shop. So thank you, everybody, for taking the time to join us. We really appreciate it. My name is Jamie Dodson. I'm your host, and you're listening to Wolf Precision's Long Range Shooting and Custom Rifle Building Podcast.